Hey man, y'all welcome back to another video here on our Sugar Coat Podcast. We back again. We finna do it all over again back here in the studio. It's been a long time coming. There's been a lot going on. Been super busy, constantly recording, man. It's becoming tiresome, but we got to do it because we got to stay consistent at the end of the day. You understand what I'm saying?
Already.
So I know y'all see a new guest right here. I'm going to let her introduce herself in just a moment. But first, what we got to do, Roy, we got to give all praise and honor to God because he is the reason why we're here today. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Can I get an amen?
Come on now. Amen. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Let them know a little bit about you.
I'm Savannah. I'm 28. I've been friends with this guy since first grade.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you did that.
I don't either. And we used to be around the same group of people
And look at
after
how he
high
turned
school
out.
and never ran into each other.
And look at how he turned out.
Yeah. I met her in first grade. She disappeared off the face of the earth. And then 20-something years later, here we are.
Oh, God. Well, I'm glad to have you here. I do appreciate you coming and spending time with us, taking time out of your busy day to be here. We appreciate it. The topic we're talking about today, I don't know. I think Roy, you came up with it. It was on our list of topics.
Yeah,
we
we had a list.
And she got her viewpoint
It's
very interesting. And I can't wait to hear this because I know how I feel. I know what side of the spectrum I am on. So, is one partner enough?
Is it really enough?
Is one partner really enough? I'm going to go ahead and let you just spill out the lifestyle. I'll give them a little bit of the beginning, like where you used to be, and then fade them into where you are now. You know what I'm saying?
So I was raised Mormon, which they're very strict on, heterosexual, monogamy, the whole thing. But growing up, I always knew that I liked girls, but I wasn't allowed to say anything about it because being raised Mormon, that's not okay. You're going to go to hell, things like that. And it was frowned upon. But then, getting into high school, I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm bisexual. And I came to terms with that. And then, there was new terms coming out, obviously, more so in 2020. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they were pushing it, but it was more so for people to be more comfortable in, who they are. Yeah. And that's kind of when I realized being pansexual is just loving the person for who they are, and not whether they're male, female, transgender. It doesn't identify as that.
So pansexual it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's no identification. You love for who exactly who they are.
It's for who they are as a person and not on the outside.
And what led you to be pansexual? What got you there?
I realized that it wasn't just about, the gender of the person. It was more so me seeking out what an individual has to offer on the inside, like their personality and how they go with their day-to-day life and things like that. Like their values and what they actually want to do with their life, and not so on their appearance.
And what gender they are. Okay. Mm. I respect that. I guess that's the first time I've ever heard a definition of pansexual in that way. I like how deep you did it. I like how you went into depths with it. I do appreciate that explanation. Roy, what's your thoughts on it before I share mine and we get into it?
Well, so the question is one partner really enough?
Yes, sir. What's your thoughts?
I think it depends upon the type of lifestyle you're trying to live. So if you're trying to live a very religious lifestyle, like let's say you're a Christian, typically you want one person to be enough, so like if you're looking for a husband or if you're looking for a wife, from a religious perspective, yes, it's enough. But if you're living outside of the confines of a religion, or if you have a completely alternative lifestyle, it might not be for you. For example, some people aren't very religious, and they just want to live life based upon pleasure. And nowadays, we have hookup culture, and with hookup culture, one of the things that comes with it is we have Tinder, we have all these different dating apps, and that has allowed us to be able to have options. And when you mix that in with birth control, contraceptives, and all that, we are a lot more free as a society to be able to engage in activities that, decades ago centuries ago, we couldn't really have engaged in the way that we can now. So I think nowadays people have more of an option to kind of choose to be like, okay, well, we don't have to go the husband and wife route anymore. Maybe we can see about having different partners. You know, as a man, you might want to have more than one female, or as a woman, you might want to have more than one male, because you also got to think about it like this. We are able to play the game a lot different now. So like, for instance, like let's say you're a woman and you don't want to just rely on one man, you know, financially. You might want to rely on multiple men financially, you know, because there's a lot of people that have higher standards nowadays, you know, when it comes to whether or not a man should or can provide. So there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. So
I love all of that.
I know, I'm just kind of rambling on.
I appreciate all of that, but we're going to get into that. I'm asking about you.
About me?
I don't know why you gave me general.
Okay, so me,
I'm
I would
trying to
want
figure out.
I would want one partner. To
Why
be
would you want one partner?
I just think that having multiple partners sounds good,
Okay.
but it also can be stressful to try to have multiple partners.
Have you done it?
Have I done it?
Have you tried it?
Okay, so we about to get real.
No, we're not gonna get real. Yes or no for right now. I gotta share my thoughts.
Okay, have I
So
had
have you tried to do it before
Have I had
to
multiple-
know why it may be difficult?
Have I had multiple partners? Yes.
Mm.
Do I want to? No. You know, I mean, I think as far as me, I think it's better to just have one partner for obvious reasons, if I'm being real with you.
Yeah, I
So-
respect that. We're gonna get into why
Yeah.
you may think that in your history and your background and all that good stuff.
Yes.
For me personally, of course, as you would know, Royal, anybody that knows me, one person's always gonna be enough for me. I don't like playing around with feelings, playing around with people. I don't like doing all that. I don't like wasting time. So I can't deal with 2 and 3, 4 people at a time. I just don't have the energy to deal with it. I got too much going on that I'm trying to do, and I'm looking for a person to just come in and they can help me, and I can also help them. We can pour into each other.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So to a certain extent, it could be the background that we come up in. I wouldn't grow up with a mom that had people in and out the door. I didn't see that lifestyle, but some people did. So some people think that's okay. They're comfortable with that, right? Or that's the way they want to live their life. That's not what I seen. My mom got with my stepmom when I was 7 years old. And that's what I seen. One thing, just straight through and through. A marriage at 2020, they got married. And they've been together ever since. So that's why I feel like one person is always going to be enough. For me personally, I like your viewpoint. I like where you're coming from. Have you did like 3 and 4 people? Like, have y'all did that whole type of
Not that
thing?
many, but I have, talked about it. Like my ex and I was like, I don't want to bring another person into our relationship, but the thing is, I wanted to have a separate relationship with this girl that I've been talking to.
Oh.
But he wanted me to bring that person in, and I was like, that's not what polyamory is you can either have partners together or separately. And usually separating them and having communication and knowing where you're at in that relationship is usually what makes it work, because you can fall in love with multiple people at the same time. And that's why I think being polyamorous for me just works, because it's just kind of who I am, I guess.
Falling in
You can
love
fall
with
in love
multiple
with multiple
people.
people at different times is what you said.
It's happened.
At the same
It's
time.
happened. Oh, you said at the same time. You said at the same time or different time? Trying to make sure I heard you right.
Yeah, you can fall in love with more than, not at the same time, but like in.
But in the same dealings.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like let me see how I wanna word it. You feel like you can never be fully committed to somebody though? Is that type of love able to be given out to multiple people at the same time?
Well, considering I have enough love to give multiple people, I think that, like, I have so much love to give that I think that could be a possibility.
Okay.
And the thing is, with having divorced parents, I don't want to be it's not that I don't want to be tied down to one person,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to share the love and have that like open part of it.
So wait a minute. Do you think you can have too much love for one person just to have one person?
No, that's not it at all. It's just I like sharing it with more than one person.
But what exactly is the difference?
Well, all right then.
Yeah, sit back a little bit.
Man, you got me stumped on that. Thank you. I don't know. I guess I've just viewed things differently because of my background, obviously.
Of course, of course.
Being pansexual, I think, also has a part to play with it. Is like, it's not that I don't want to be tied down to one person. It's just nice to have multiple views on different things.
Be well
So having
rounded.
different partners,
Being
yeah, you can
well-rounded.
have different perspectives from those partners.
Okay. You mentioned something a little while back, and you said that you wanted to have a separate relationship with somebody else outside of the current relationship that you were in at that time. But he wanted you to bring her in. Or
Yeah.
it was her, right? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. He wanted you to bring her in. Why did you not want to do that? Or what was your reasoning behind not bringing her into the whole thing?
So his intentions with that was,
Of course.
bringing another girl
Of-
in, threesome,
Yep.
yay, whatever.
Yep.
Of course.
But
Yep.
the thing is,
Of course. Okay.
I wanted to keep it separate because I was interested in her initially, like, for just me, not to have, like, a threesome. If it were that case, I would have brought somebody in that I didn't have feelings for if it were like that. That sounds terrible. But I would have brought somebody else in that I wouldn't have gotten invested in, just for the sake of our relationship. And communication with that is a big thing. And that's what he wanted, was just a threesome, whatever. But, like, having separate relationships and boundaries like that, like, it could work having a third, but then you would get into the territorial part of being a throuple. And I just...
Yeah, and I'm not doing it. That's
I
why
like having separate relationships to where, you can have different things.
Is that not a lot to keep up with? Like, come on, let's be serious. Let's be real.
It is.
I,
But, I mean, every relationship comes with challenges, and that's the thing.
exactly. You're doubling your load.
Yeah.
You're doubling the
That is
challenges
true.
that are already going to come with developing a relationship with somebody. And that's what you're willing to do? Like, you got to be honest.
I
I know
mean,
you
it's
got a
a
lot of
lot
love
more
to
work.
give, but does that mean you have to give it? Is the question.
Like,
Why does that one person not deserve all that love?
It's not that they don't. It's just because I don't want to be just with one person, in a sense, because I am attracted to males and females. That's the part of being poly, that if I want to have a girlfriend or have a boyfriend or have both at the same time, like, why can't I?
Okay. I get that. You decide to deal with what you want to deal with. You accept what you want to accept.
Yeah.
So each relationship is going to come with their own set of challenges. So if you have a male relationship and then a female relationship, are the challenges going to be that much different?
I think so, because females were more intuitive with each other, versus with the man, you gotta kind of be upfront and tell them things for them to understand what you're trying to say.
It depends.
I've dealt with a lot
It
of relationships
depends on
like
the
that.
man. Okay. So I don't know if you heard or if you was getting what I was saying. I grew up with 2 women, and
Yeah.
I grew up around a lot of women. So I have a very different outlook on how I empathize and understand women. Royal don't really believe in it. He thinks it's either or. You can either understand or love, right? That's the crazy stuff you say.
Well,
Is that what you said,
Well,
right?
it's a saying. It's you can either love them or you can understand them, but it's very difficult to do both.
Well, I can do both. I'm not.
I mean,
I
we'll
can
see.
do both. Ain't no we'll see. I don't want to hear that. We speak positive energy. I want to hear that.
We speak
But
real
I'm saying
energy.
we speak real energy. But I'm just saying, I believe that I can do both. So I think it depends on the person that you're with.
It's about
the
that balance.
management with, right?
Maybe it's a
And
balance of understanding and love.
you have to communicate too, and most men don't know how to do that. Most of my relationships have failed due to communication.
Do you think it's the men that you're actually dating, though, the people you're seeking? Like, do you think that's something that have to do with it, like a certain type of individual?
Yes and no, but that's why I've been single for a year and a half now because of they need to know what they want.
And they don't know what they want. They're not able to properly communicate what they want.
Exactly. They just either that or they know what they want and they don't want to communicate it because they don't want to lose having somebody that they can just
have in their back pocket when it's convenient.
Yep. And that's my last relationship. It was long distance, but I knew him for a good better part of 6 years.
Oh.
And I was the one making all the effort towards the end of the relationship. So I couldn't do it anymore.
No, it got to be equally shared effort. If it ain't equal, we ain't talking about nothing.
It's got to be mutual.
Royal, you shared previously, I know I'm going to give you your time to speak. You wanted to come out and speak. You said that you didn't want to have multiple partners, but you did, or what have you.
Yeah.
And you was going to go into a story about when you did try to do it. Because I've tried to, too, and I'm not cut for it. I'm not cut for it. So go ahead and give people that story you want to share.
It's not necessarily that I can't do it. It's more so like I just don't want to. Because, I mean, it's just, I just don't see the point. Because it's like, it sounds good, let's just keep it real. A lot of men have a fantasy, have multiple females at the same time. And it's like, but when you realize the kind of work that takes, the load, and then it's just like, what are you really getting out of it? You know what I'm saying? And then what happens when you start vibing with one more than the other? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't really think about that, It's like, imagine what it's like if you start falling for somebody more than somebody else. You don't think that's going to show in a relationship or the situation? How's that going to make the other person feel in relation to the other person? Like, you really got to think about, and some of this is speculative, some of this is by, just general experience of mine, but you really have to think about how it affects people if you're going to do it, and then also how it's going to affect yourself. Because a lot of people just get wrapped up in the concept or the prestige of, hey, I got me a harem, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people get caught up in that, not understanding what it truly means. Like, with great power comes great responsibility. I know that sounds corny, but that's just what it is. It's like, a lot of dudes are like, yo, having two females, but that's a lot of work, dog. A lot of dudes can't even handle one. And you trying to have two, you trying to have three. And then especially if you breaking some of them bread, like, it's like some people are like, yo, I want to have 2 wives. I want to have 3 wives. And it's just like, so you going to have 2, 3 mortgages? Is that what you're telling me? 2, 3 mortgages? Or you going to have them all living in the same house?
Some of them get that lucky.
You going to have
Is that something you would do? If you did do the whole, like, what the 2 different ways you mentioned, the whole conclusive thing, like everybody's.
Yeah.
And would you live under the same household, under the same roof, and have time with each other, or?
Yeah, so the thing is, you would have to set boundaries. Boundaries. That's all it is to make it work. Like, is setting boundaries on what you're wanting and your intentions in the relationship. And if I did have 2 different partners living under the same roof, you just got to communicate what you want and separate your time evenly. And if somebody's, worried that they're not getting enough time with you, you communicate that, sit down together and talk about it instead of letting it fester. That's people's problems, is when you don't communicate your issues that you're going through as a couple, then it's not going to last.
Because you let it fester.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, letting it fester is bad, right? But we also got to look at the other side, right? Both people are held responsible at the end of the day. Maybe that person, your partner, what have you, don't make you feel comfortable enough to come to them to say that. So you also have to be open and ready to receive what that person is saying and be able to give a solution as well to come to that. Just because I'm saying, hey, baby, I'm feeling like we not really on the same level, we not really here, or we not spending enough time together, don't mean you actually heard what I said. You just let me speak it, but nothing changes. So then what a person starts to do, especially us men can do it too. You know, they express how they feel, and they feel like this, like it's just getting thrown around, or that woman don't care. They don't actually truly value it. So then we start to just let it fester. We let it go. We move on until one thing pop up, and then bam, everything else that you've been feeling
Straw that breaks the camel's back.
So, and I'm not calling out women, I'm not calling out men. We all can do it, right? But I just want to reiterate that other person, that, you know, the opposite side, or whatever the case may be, they need to be willing to listen to you and understand. They need to just listen. You funny. The old channel, the old videos.
Every time the opportunity comes up, I'ma say it. I'ma say it.
The channel that it was before it was no Sugarcoat Podcast was Just Listen. So, but do you think that's a big part of it? Just because the person needs to communicate don't mean they actually getting heard. And I'm not gonna lie, if you're not being heard, why am I communicating?
Well, also, when people's actions don't match their words too,
Ooh, talk. Come on.
It doesn't help. Like when
come
people
on.
want to say stuff and it's just speaking out of their ass, but their actions aren't leading up to what they're fucking saying. And that's been a big problem. And, you know, I want for things to work when I am, you know, either talking to them or in a relationship, and I have to bring up the fact that, you know, I am poly, and they're like, oh, well, you're all mine. You know, I always let people know beforehand, before anything gets serious, so that they're aware. It's not that they're competing against anybody, but I'm giving them the opportunity that if they want somebody else outside of the relationship, just to communicate, you know, that that's what they want, vice versa.
Okay. Hey, you were speaking. I'm not gonna lie. You got me sitting back here like, okay, you even got what you thinking?
Yeah, what are you thinking over
Glad I
there?
brought her.
Was that a lot?
Cause you was speaking.
I'm
though.
glad I brought her.
That was really good. Everybody right here and in the back was like, you know what I'm saying? that was pretty good. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was, yeah, okay. You talking. You done been through some things. I can see the passion, and you've experienced some things. You say you've been in a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
What do you feel like, other than communication, what's some advice you would give to the viewers, or just give to anybody when it comes to it, especially in your specific, you know, how well-rounded you are with dealing with multiple individuals and how open you are? What's something you would tell people? Some advice.
They need to trust their partners, and trust isn't just given, it has to be earned. Not only that, if their actions are not matching up with their words, you need to sit them down and ask them, you know, if we're gonna do this, we need to figure out what the issues are, you know. And I did hear this thing that, like, if you can't give 100%, you need to ask your partner, hey, what can you do that we can meet 100% together to make this work? Because not everybody at the end of the day is going to be able to have that 100% in the relationship. Because it's not 50-50. Sometimes you'll have to carry the weight that day because they had a bad day. And just try to communicate and trust them. And if you have trust issues, you just need to let them know instead of, you know, going behind their back and doing things that will end your relationship in a bad way, because that tends to happen. Just do what you can and make the best out of your relationship.
Now, when you said 50-50.
Wow. No, whoa, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. Can you give her a moment of silence? She was talking. She was putting some stuff out there.
Oh, she was?
Hold on now. That was if you don't, you need to take that in. So you jumping too fast. Now.
I'm not jumping. I just had a question. You said 50,
go ahead
50.
and ask that question, and
You
then
said
we're gonna go into the closing.
What do you think about 100?
It'll never be 100.
Why do you say that?
Because you, man, I think because the fact that you, as partners, it's not always going to be 100% on both sides because you have to equal to each other at 100%.
See, when I say 100, what I mean is, are y'all both willing to empty y'all's tanks for each other?
Well, that's where that part comes into play. When somebody only has 20% to give, you give the 80% back to make it 100.
But that 20% is their 100%. That 80% that they have to give might be that 100%. Sometimes, giving 100% doesn't always mean giving 100%. Sometimes a person ain't got but 20% to give, but that 20% might be 100% to them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You were just rewording basically what I was getting at.
Ooh.
But in a different context.
So in other words, we on the same wavelength.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. Somebody on the same wavelength with this, man. I can't believe it was even possible.
What's that supposed to mean?
Man, go close us out, Roy. Close us out.
All right, so I've had a good time on this podcast.
Yes, sir.
But I don't know about y'all, but y'all need to like, y'all need to comment, share, and subscribe as if they were all different partners.
Oh, every time. Oh, man. Hey, I appreciate all of y'all for coming out. Keep supporting, keep engaging. If you want to be a part of the show, hit us up on our platforms, on any of our social media, on the video. Just let us know what you want to do, and then we can try to schedule something and put something together. She is definitely going to be back. Y'all ain't got to worry about that. If y'all like the feedback and, just the knowledge that she gave, her background, her wisdom, her life, then, hey, y'all will hear plenty more. Is that right? You want to come back and mess with us a little more?
Of course.
Okay. We like that.
I have a lot to talk about. So.
Ooh. We're going to definitely invite you back, especially when it comes to multiple people we have around. Get like 6-7 people up here one day.
Oh, yeah.
Do it again.
I got a table in the trunk.
You got
I got a table in the trunk. We still need to get it. We
Table
still need
in
to
the
get the
trunk.
cover made.
Oh, yeah. We're
No
going to get the
shit,
cover made. We're going to get
yeah.
the cover made. Look, okay, man. I appreciate y'all. It was a great video. I hope y'all had a good time, and come back and mess with us on the next video.